All right, welcome everyone. We are casting Division E tonight. The Baddest Dudes taking on Illidancing Queens, and I have Slexia joining me, not on cam, but emotes to fill her space here tonight. How are you doing, Slex? Uh-oh.
Am I muted?
Okay, there we go. Now we can hear you.
Oh, it wouldn't be a Slexia co-cast without a technical problem. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, is what I was saying. I'm excited for tonight because we have more than this. It's a doubleheader for us tonight, casting together.
Yeah, so at 6:30, the match we have going on right now is Baddest Dudes versus Illidancing Queens, and then at 8:15, Puns Upon a Time versus Knights That Stay Bronze. And I'm kind of excited because I haven't really casted these divisions too much, and there's some familiar faces on these teams for me tonight, so I can't wait to see them play. It's going to be my first time really getting the opportunity to see their games in full without having to take off to go do my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. I see some people on the side of the Baddest Dudes that I've played with in the past that I've you could say, coached before. So I'm excited to see how these matches go. And then, of course, Illidancing Queens. Super popular team.
I love their name. It's one of my favoriteest team names in the league, to be honest. Let's take a look at these map selections here. We already did do coin toss, so I'm going to pop on over to that overlay for you guys, give you guys a rundown of what happened. We did have the Baddest Dudes win the coin toss and opt to go with first pick going into the first match tonight here, giving map pick over to the side of Illidancing Queens. If you're wondering about those map bans, Alterac, Pass, and Battlefield of Eternity banned out by the Baddest Dudes, and we have Braxis and Dragonshire being banned out by Illidancing Queens. Giving the first pick map here, it's going to be Infernal Shrines. How are you feeling about Infernal Shrines, Lex?
I mean, it's kind of like the status quo map. You know, it's the let's see how good that macro game is map for me, that team fight map. It's all of those things in one huge place.
I love a series starting out on Infernal Shrines. It just feels like it's a very nice balanced map, a good, nothing weird, no shenanigans going on. I think it's a great game or a great map to start a series out with.
Yeah, I do too. And you can get creative on this map. So that's the exciting thing. And also uh, the shrines and the various protectors or John Cena's, if you will. Just the whole lottery of which one will spawn can change the game dynamic depending. But specifically the Frozen Punisher is what I'm talking about. That one is a big deal. It's a big deal.
I also have frequently seen teams give objectives and get as much value as they would have wanting objectives as well. So it's fun to see how teams approach Infernal Shrines when they know that they're going to be losing objectives as well.
Right. Ooh, here we are already in draft. Didn't even know we were headed there. Thought we were just going to be in lobby for a while. No, just kidding. All right. So home team, the Baddest Dudes with a Z.
Mm-hmm.
As if they're just going to be target banning anyone in particular on the side of Illidancing Queens, or perhaps just go with the normal bans. In Div E, I feel like the banning phase is so volatile.
Now, Born is known for Brightwing, is she not? And Brightwing's pretty meta right now, so maybe we'll see a target ban on the Brightwing.
Possibly. I do know that Dax enjoys drafting and actually does his homework.
Yes.
So this is going to be a well thought out thing, at least for the red side. Not sure if the Diablo ban was a target ban or not.
All right, that's the Joanna band coming out from the side of Illidancing Queens. Yeah, no, you're right about Dax, though. I've played with him before. You've played with him before on teams and stuff in little leagues here and there. And he does. He shows up with Word docs full of everybody's most played heroes, and he breaks it down by what they've recently played, their most played heroes, and like what they've played as a team together and what role they're supposed to be playing. So he gets as much information as he can out there scouting these teams. He's very thorough.
Right. And so when I see something like a Stukov ban, it either makes me think, okay, is the healer of Baddest Dudes going to be picking up Brightwing? Or is that just something that Born has been forced to play because her Brightwing is always banned? You know, maybe they just hate the silence. I don't know.
It's going to be a Deckard pickup for the first pick here on the side of the Baddest Dudes. Look at this tank choke going on already. They've banned out 3 tanks so far.
Yeah. Interesting. We still have ETC available, though. And Muradin, of course. Diablo is strong right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see... All right, it is a tank pickup. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised to see Born pick up her healer, but maybe she's forced to diversify so often now that it's not a first priority for her.
I do
and the
like
tank choke, definitely. Ugh.
I do like the ETC or Fia combo. If you are able to go Mosh with the Eternal Feast over top of it, it can be really devastating in team fights. And there we go. Raynor and Anub'arak locked in for the side of the Baddest Dudes.
Okay, so curious if that's a comfort tank for Baddest Dudes, having Anub'arak. I'm also curious now with the Orphea if we're just going to see the dirty bathtub because Dax coined that phrase.
Yeah, and he plays Leo too, right? So definitely something that they could end up drafting here. Not really the biggest fan of an Anub'arak tank, and I think they are going to need more of a front line on the side of the Baddest Dupes. But Anub'arak did have some changes in the patch yesterday, some level 20 talent buffs. So maybe they'll make use of some of those talents.
Maybe. Also, just from the previous patch with his ability to reduce spell power, it might be something that's a big deal for them, but not sure. I do know that the Baddest Dudes is using a sub tonight, and not sure which player that is. So there might be some adjusting for this team either way.
We already got some people cheering in chat for these teams here. Tierless, how are you doing? Luminaire's in chat. Tuna B. Lind Lunny's in here. And Bones, thanks for coming to tune in and cheer these teams on. I'm sure they appreciate it. And with that, Anduin and Greymane locked in on the side of Illidancing Queens. I was really expecting the Leoric.
And maybe we'll still see that. But I believe this season Dax has been playing Assassin.
Really?
So, yeah.
For the Alliance. Do your worst.
Here's a draft of the Baddest Dudes being rounded out by the Jaina and Yrel pickup. Ooh, Yrel. She's always annoying to play against.
And Durlock is an exceptional offlaner. He's one that I'm familiar with. His Yrel is surprisingly good. He's also a really good Rexar. But one thing that is interesting here is as much as I love Jaina, she's not the best for the wave clear or the shrine clear for those skeletal defenders.
You do have to kind of kite them into a blizzard before you drop them, gather them all up in a group, and then pray that all 3 waves hit to clear it. But there's definitely worse. There's worse mages you could pick, that's for sure.
Yeah, Li Ming.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is one worse mage. No,
even Mephisto is kind of difficult to clear stuff.
Yeah,
with.
Absolutely. He's more of just team fighty crazy, but that's our draft. And based on what I'm seeing, I personally like the draft of Illidancing Queens.
You know, I'm a little worried that Illidancing Queen's team is a bit on the squishy side. They really only have one frontliner, and sometimes ETC can be bursted down pretty easily. There's some good synergy happening over on the side of the Baddest Dudes. Depending on what Raynor takes at level 1, we still might just see him taking the Exterminator. But he has those slows on Jaina and on Deckard, and the stuns that taking Ace in the Hole might be a little bit better here. Hopefully I'm not messing up talent names.
No, you're exactly right. Ace in the Hole with the slows. If that's on purpose, you know, then I can see that being a thing for them.
We'll just have to see here. But getting into this game, best of 3 here, game between Baddest Dudes and Illidancing Queens. On the left-hand side, we have the Baddest Dudes with Savior on the Jaina, Night Raven being played by, or playing the Rainer, Durlock on the Urel, Ghost of AJ on the Anubarak, and Mad Kaiser?
Yeah.
Mad Kaiser on the Deckard.
And on the red side, on the right, playing for Illidancing Queens. Don't want you to get DMCA'd, so I won't continue. You're welcome. We have Born to Shine playing Anduin, Seztrin on Orphea, Dax playing Greymane, Yotaru on Malthael, and Jakebot playing ETC.
I'm excited to watch this Malthael URL matchup as well.
So am I. It can be a tricky one, especially with Urel just constantly able to knock you back. But speaking of what we were talking about before, it looks like Night Raven did decide to go Exterminator on the Rainer. So no extra benefits from those slows.
All right, a little bit of damage being traded back and forth here as the teams start to soak those lanes between mid and top. And look at this, or between mid and bot. Look at this top lane. Durlock already having to back up here. Yotaru getting Durlock down to half health and pushing this lane in onto the front wall. Very aggressive.
Aggressively. And I think early game, that's okay. But let's say Illidancing Queens decides to rotate. It could be even better for them.
You have the Illidancing Queens getting their siege camp out in the mid here, making a rotation down to that bottom lane. Kind of expecting them to just start right away on this bottom camp. Did look like Dax was eyeing it for a second, and here he goes. He's going to start that up now. Well, the side of the Baddest Dudes cleans up that mid camp. I like this play because if you take your siege camp on cooldown, it's going to be pushing that mid lane. You can, and the team on the other side has to choose between whether they want to, you know, lose some pressure in that mid and possibly soak and contest the bottom camp, or lose the bottom camp. And that's exactly what we saw here. They decided to go get that mid soak, and in turn, they lost a bottom siege camp for it, giving Illidancing Queens just a slight up in the XP here.
Yeah, very slight. But having that wave push in really helped them out too, with a little bit of that wall near the bottom fort. So we're already at level 4s for both teams. Pretty close to the first shrine activating, and we see Illidancing Queens already on their bruiser. They're wasting no time here, Jazzy, with these macro objectives.
Yeah, I hope that they don't cap it right away. They need to, I would have liked to see them hold off just a little bit, because this is going to give enough of a window here for Baddest Dudes to clean it up before they have to start contesting objective. But objective is top, so ultimately these camps are just going to get cleared up during the fight top. Anyway, here comes a power slide onto the Urel here, just getting caught out. Malthael shredding her down, Greymane to help out as well, and that's first blood in favor of Illidancing Queens here as Urel falls.
Yeah, and that's the rotation I was talking about, and maybe capping that was their plan, to be able to do that and get that gank first. Now they're able to start attacking these skeletal defenders. Although the bruiser camp has been cleared up by Baddest Dudes, these death timers are so low that it's hard to call already what's going to happen.
ETC taking quite a bit of damage there, but in goes the Greymane trying to get that pick onto the Jaina. He's able to get out, but a couple members on the side of Illidancing Queens looking quite low here. Born to Shine doing what she can to heal them up. Orphea getting caught out of position a bit there and paying for it with about half her health bar being lost there, but has the tap to fall back to. Malthael going in on the Urel. ETC eyeing the Anubarak, power slides into him. Greymane going in to get the pick, and they get it. Orphea securing the kill there. Anubarak down. They're now eyeing that Urel as she's trying to escape here. In terms of those skeletal defenders, 17-21 in favor of Illidancing Queens right now.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is just an evident great work with communication from the side of Illidancing Queens. They call a target and everyone is on that target. It is really rough for Urel or just anyone. You saw the Anubarak. Once he was slid, he was just lights out. So they're showing up really strong on the side of Illidancing Queens with this Frozen Punisher. And it could get pretty devastating soon.
You have Jaina gone down to the bottom lane to get some soak here. And she's just had to Hearth, and I'm curious if she's going to come up for the defense because it looks like she's making that rotation. But Punisher falling pretty quickly here. I don't imagine they're going to get much more but this front wall on the top fort. See the Illidancing Queens backing up now. Dax having to back to get some mana. And Melthiel been soaking. Catching that mid-soak and now rotating bottom.
Yeah, looking at his numbers with soaking, we see that he's at 29k. Orphea just a little bit above him. Yrel only at 17k. So he's putting in work there. Durlock top against 4 members of Illidancing Queens.
Interesting. My XP soaked is showing different numbers on my overlay when you were making those. But okay, top fort being taken by Illidancing Queens here, opening that up a bit, but Melthiel getting caught a little bit here, having to pop his Gladiator's medallion to survive, and the invade coming out from the Baddest dudes, going to take that siege camp as they realize that top fort is a lost cause, trying to find some value elsewhere. Level 10's coming close to being online here for Illidancing Queens, though.
Yeah, there's definite experience to pick up for the side of Baddest dudes so that they can meet them with ultimates. Illidancing Queens just showing pretty strong, having taken down that structure and get 3 kills. It's gonna be rough until they're on the same talent tier again, which we do see level 10s now picked up for Illidancing Queens.
Yeah, we have Anowin talenting into Light Bomb. We have the Crushing Jaws being picked up by Orphea, Crucible from the Grey Mane, Last Rites being grabbed by the Melthiel, and Mosh from the ETC. Level 10's almost online now for the side of the Baddest dudes.
Yeah, picking those up, we see Water Elemental, Cocoon, Stay a While, as well as the Ardent Defender and Hyperion. So more of a blow-up Jaina build is what I'm seeing. Pretty much the meta build for her. Can be devastating for the ETC, but speaking of devastation, we see a pick onto
I'm impressed.
onto the Raynor. Yeah.
I'm actually impressed with the plays that are coming out here. I haven't casted too many Division E here, but that ETC slides gets the power slide, and Dax is on it. Orphea is on it. They're going in and getting the pick that they need, and they're going to see this once again. Here comes the Crushing Jaw. The Mosh is out as well. Stay a while and listen to interrupt. 4 members asleep here on the side of Illidancing Queen. They don't get the pick that they wanted, but a good attempt by both sides there.
Yeah, that was an excellent Stay a While, even in chat, born to shine, jeez, saying very nice Stay a While. It interrupted their whole plan, and now that's cooldowns. We have 95 seconds until we can see another mosh pit.
Yeah, keep in mind there was a couple ults used on the Baddest dudes. We do have Cocoon down right now and the Stay a While and Listen, so 2 ults for 2 ults here. ETC getting knocked back there. Here comes a Light Bomb out onto the ETC. Catches a couple members of the Baddest dudes. Anubarak getting focused down. Last Rites goes out onto him. Dax going in to get it, the finishing blow there. Down goes the Anubarak. Hyperion is out, but it's not enough to really do anything to help the team here. And Objective up and ready to go here. This is Illidancing Queens getting a start on this for the Skeletal Defenders.
Right, and they are also pretty close to level 13. This is the perfect opportunity to see Baddest dudes do something else that gets them value, perhaps. But it looks like instead they're just clearing top lane, trying to get more experience. Their siege camp is available. Durlock making a tricky rotation here into mid lane, now meeting up with his team. Already at 26 skeletal defenders for the side of Illidancing Queens, with Greymane stepping down to the siege camp. So I don't know if we're gonna see Baddest dudes want to 5v4 a talent tier down. We will not.
Greymane managing to pick up that siege camp. We also have the Baddest dudes starting up their camp there. They're able to grab that as well. Yrel sitting in that bottom lane, trying to get some value somewhere else on the map, try to find those level 13s for the team. And Melthiel, he's up in the top lane, clearing out that bruiser camp that Baddest dudes have sent top. The rest of the team pushing mid or defending, trying to get this mid fort down. Punisher already at 36% left on its health bar.
Yeah, even though we do see Baddest Dudes a little bit behind and losing structures, they're able to burn this Punisher down pretty quickly. It does reach the keep wall, but won't do much damage at all. Yrel, though, in the bottom lane,
She knew what was going
makes it
on.
out. Yeah, I think she's like, okay, this isn't safe for me anymore.
She's already been rotated on a couple times. I think she's becoming more aware of watching where the members of Illidancing Queens are when she's overextended in a lane. So she was able to back out in time there. That bottom siege camp going to go over to Illidancing Queens. And now this bottom fort looks like it's going to be the next thing that they're going to look to siege up. The nice thing about having all these forts down is you're going to have those periodic catapults spawning in those lanes now. So when objective does come up, you're going to end up having a little bit more pressure in all of the lanes during the fight over objective. You don't have to worry about cleaning up your lanes unless there's like mega camps going on in them.
Right. It just sucks. I know that Durlock wants to go out into these lanes and get more experience, but he's been ganked, and it's just a little rough to have to leave those waves behind when surely he wants to be there.
Yeah,
bringing his team closer.
What he should do here is just freeze the lane. Don't kill these minions. Just let your minions kill them and pick up the XP globes and then go to the other lane. That way he doesn't have to overextend too far. We're going to see the Anubrak getting picked off down here in the bottom lane. Jakebot getting kind of low. Born to Shine also looking like she might be in a bit of trouble. But oh my goodness, she's able to walk away. The Stay a While and Listen comes out. That's going to get the pick onto ETC. The Leap of Faith saving Greymane, but Orphea looking like she might go down here, getting caught down on this bottom siege camp point. 2 members down on the side of Illidancing Queens to the 1 on the side of the Baddest Dudes. It looks like they're going to turn this siege pressure back around and try to poke down some of this fort here.
Definitely a good call. With 2 down, I'd like to see them continue pushing, and that is what they're going to do. I thought they were mounting up to leave. Tank isn't there, though, so luckily this wave has arrived to help them out. Both bruiser camps are available, and the lane top is now closer to the side of Baddest Dudes if we do want to see Durlock rotate and get that experience. Level 16s, though, already picked up for the side of Illidancing Queens.
I mean, right now, the Baddest Dudes are kind of setting themselves up in a position to potentially come back here. They still have their fort and fountain bottom lane. They're about to hit those level 16s and be on the same talent tier as Illidancing Queens. So this is going to give them a slight edge going into this objective, as they're going to be able to back up, hit that tap on the fountain, and re-engage when Illidancing Queens won't be able to. Or I should say, they technically could go for the mid fountain, but it's a bit further away to do that.
Right. While we see Baddest Dudes picking up their level 16 talents, Illidancing Queens took the opportunity to get the siege camp on the side of Baddest Dudes. So they have not only the bruiser pushing top lane, but this siege mid lane, which gives them the advantage here to get these skeletal defenders first. It is just Yotaro. It looks like Jakebot is anchoring, looking for a rotation from someone.
Yeah, keep in mind, Mosh is up and available here. If the whole team rotates through this choke point, this could be a huge... He's still anchoring in this bush, looking to come in from behind. Crushing Jaws, connecting onto the Raynor. They get the pick onto Raynor and Anubrak. Don't even need to use the Mosh here. Greymane in the cocoon. He's finally going to be popped back out. Jaina looking quite low. And that is going to be Malthael securing the kill there. Stay a While and Listen coming out to save Yrel and Deckard as they look to disengage here.
Yeah, that's 3 members down for no members in favor of Illidancing Queens. The Bruiser is still top lane pushing for Baddest Dudes. It looks like Durlock is just going to take the opportunity to push along with that. And I think it's almost safe to say that we're going to see this bottom fort fall, leaving only the keeps up for Baddest Dudes.
Like, I never would expect to see this division hold off capping an objective like this.
This is a seasoned team.
This is not something I was expecting to see. They're holding off getting some camps, trying to push out some lanes and create pressure in other places, clear out that top camp as well.
I mean, it's Illidancing Queens, you know? They are sweaty.
I feel like I missed out not casting some of their games before, because this is This is well played by them. But I mean, both teams are doing well. We've seen amazing stay a whiles and listens coming out from Deckard, and some great plays coming out from the side of the Baddest dudes as well. I'm actually thoroughly impressed here.
Same. Absolutely.
Even just the CC that came out when the Immortal was jumping the fence there to allow them to more focus the Immortal, because the team was just stuck in a Deckard route, stuck in a Nubrak stun for the longest time. That ETC couldn't engage off the Immortal or the Punisher jump.
You know, it's not over though for the side of Baddest dudes, because even though they just have their keeps up, the top and bottom fort for the side of Illidancing Queens is gone, and with death timers getting higher and higher, one huge team fight can get them a lot of value. But this this setup here in this vent,
yeah, they do have a slight moment here, and there's the power slide out from the ETC. Everyone just collapsing on this Decker, trying to stay alive, but it's not going to work out. 3 members deleted at almost the exact same time on the side of the Baddest dudes, giving it a 3-0 in favor of Illidancing Queens here.
That square is one of the most lethal squares on this map. Hashtag respect the bush in chat. Am I right?
Absolutely. We got Mr. Born to Shine in chat cheering on Illidancing Queens. Zatoichi is saying Queens know their stuff. Yeah, no, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed with their macro play. I'm impressed with their rotations. I'm impressed with their target focus.
Yeah, from the start they've been very on point. This is the target and they're dead. Like, there's no, they get away with a little bit of health. They are just dead. So with level 20s, looks like Illidancing Queen's just gonna pick up the bruiser on the side of Baddest dudes. You know, they're just waiting for the next objective possibly, but with that talent tier advantage, with the final talent, if anyone steps out, I wouldn't be surprised to see them fall. We see Durlock rotating up. Jakebot used the slide. There is the
back. Last rate's coming out onto the URL there, and she's gonna get picked off.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just lessons to be learned this game on rotations, especially even for my team, on how well coordinated we're seeing Illidancing Queens here with target follow-up. But they are a little chunked, not necessarily in trouble, having to back up. Welly just putting in work on the ETC.
Yeah, Jaina's still looking to finish out that baseline quest. They are currently sitting at 14,355 damage of the 15,000 needed. So she's definitely trying to chase them down with that Ellie a little bit and try and finish those stacks out. So she has that ice block, which become pretty valuable into a lacerates Malthael or crushing jaws. Even you know, Mosh light bomb, you can avoid some of that CC and maybe survive in some of these team fights with it. Malthael, look at this here. We have the entire team rotating down there, but fortunately for him, Baddest dude's not looking to catch him on that rotation, able to get through there. No issues, and Illidancing Queens starting the objective in the top lane, while the siege camp in the bottom getting picked up by the Baddest dudes. They're looking for that level 20.
Yeah, it's getting a bit hairy, if you will, with that bruiser pushing top, the huge wave that Durlock had to just clear bottom lane. This is going to be a Punisher most likely going over to Illidancing Queens, because I'm not seeing any aggressive rotation to stop that from the side of Baddest dudes, and this could potentially be the end of the game if there are some picks here with this Punisher pushing top keep.
Yeah, and I'm just guessing based off where people are going here. They're not too worried about that bottom siege camp, so they're looking for the picks and looking to potentially end the game with this Punisher. We are level 20 now in the game. Arcane Punisher, not the strongest, but it'll do.
It'll do. They jumped onto the Nubrak. Jakebot tried to use Power Slide just a little bit out of range to stun that Anubrak and Mad Kaiser, the Deckard Cain, having to back up completely to self-heal. There's another jump onto the Anubrak. Last rites used. Don't even know if it was needed. He will fall. Yotaru, though, taking so much damage, having to back up. Jaina taking damage as well, going into base to heal up. And this is a Punisher with a quarter life, stepping up to the core, jumping onto Durlock before it decides to assault the core. And looks like they're not going to back up out of this. It's core call.
Yeah, no, it's a little scary here. They're not even having the shields down. Huge Stale Wild Listen coming out from the Deckard there. Dax getting quite low and is just sitting on the core trying to do as much damage as possible. Well, Jake bot zones the Jaina and Raynor, but it's not working out. We're going to see Orphea having to get Leap of Faith out of there, but Yrel jumping in to finish the kill onto her there. And now the chase is on. They're trying to look for those picks onto Illidancing Queens. And here's the thing, if they find them, they can go for a keep. And depending how staggered these deaths are, you know, they could try to end as well. Here's a last right.
Sliding into the team. Yeah, last rights used Yrel falls. That's a staggered death for Baddest Dudes, but chasing these kills gave Baddest Dudes less time to do something with that time.
Yeah,
so
this is
30 seconds of it gone.
It's a little dangerous now. I think they were thinking they'd still be able to continue to fight here, but that's going to cost Deckard his life here and any opportunity that we were talking about for the Baddest Dudes to potentially grab a keep here. Because as you see, Greymaine's up in 8 seconds, Orphea up in 14. They're going to have their entire team up, and they're going to be missing 2 members on the side of the Baddest Dudes for another 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, Burrow coming in from the Nubrak onto the siege camp, but there's a Mosh in the backline. Light bomb used, last rites. And Anubrak's gone again. I think he's probably having the worst night of his life with these last rites just on cooldown being used to take his life. But with these death timers so high, it's really risky to go in for those aggressive 3v3s.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct there. And I mean, you have... This is what I was kind of saying about having an Anubrak as your main tank, is I feel like sometimes he's just not quite good enough for your front line. And you're seeing this time and time again. You saw when they pushed with the Punisher, he ate the jump, and it's the tank's jobs to do that. But with a Malthael and a Greymane with Curse of Bullet on the team, Anubrak just gets absolutely blown up in every engage.
Yeah, we see a steal onto the Bruiser from the side of Illidancing Queens. And I know from the start, you know, you were kind of like, okay, Illidancing Queens is pretty squishy, but we've seen with how quickly they're able to blow a target up that they don't need that second Bruiser or front line.
And that's exactly how you need to play a comp where you only have that one front line. When ETC goes in for that pick, you have to have the target focus on that pick. Otherwise, you're left, you know, you're pretty vulnerable to just being poked down over time. So you need to win these fights quickly, and that's exactly what Illidancing Queens is doing.
Here's that patience that we've seen from Illidancing Queens, the bush gank. I would be afraid to be in any lane near any bush.
Look at this, the 2-man launch coming up from ETC, interrupt coming from the Anubrak, but again, he's just blown up, followed by the Deckard going down as well. Yrel popping her Ardent Defender, trying to absorb some damage and get out of there, using her jump, but let's see if that's going to be enough to make it out. She does have that speed increased there, so she is able to back out, but 2 members down on the side of the Baddest Dudes, and this keep down, it looks like there might be a core call coming out from Illidancing Queens, which I can't blame them for. They have a Greymane on their team. He shreds.
Right, and that's what they're gonna do. They're here at this core again. Just Durlock, Jaina, and Raynor there to defend. Durlock doing his best, just hopping in. We do see some members try to turn on him, and the last rites goes out this time to take his life, but the core is at 55%. GG's called in chat by Baddest Dudes. We'll see game 1 of this best of 3 going over to Illidancing Queens.
Yeah, GG's well played. I am really excited to see these next games here because I think that the Baddest Dudes definitely has an opportunity to try and turn these games around. I don't feel like as well as Illidancing Queens played, I still do feel like there's a chance for them to turn it around and try and take a game on them.
Yeah, and Mad Kaiser with those stay wiles.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so excellent. Like,
there's a lot of good things happening there.
Yeah, I want to see this go to game 3 personally.
Let's take a look at this match summary. A little bit of a rough game for the Baddest dudes, 4-21 in kills. But I think a lot of that just comes down to they need to pay attention to rotations. You know, if you don't see enemies on the map, assume they're right by you in a bush.
Yeah. Assume you're going to get ganked from every bush at any time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I learned to play competitively. Just assume there's someone waiting there.
There might not be, but it's better to think there is than there's not.
Just live your life in fear in this game, basically, is what I'm saying.
Let's take a look at the builds here. Anything that's sticking out to you?
Let me take a look.
I will say for me, right off the bat, we did see Orphea. Her level 4 talent has the reduced cooldown on her Q. And we did see that picked up instead of the trait in this game on the side of Illidancing Queens. So that's cool to see. And we also saw the level 20 Anubrak Crypt Weave.
Yeah, that's the thing that I would bring up, where I feel like Rewind or something maybe would have been better to be able to get out of those sticky situations. I know if Last Rites is cast, you're just gone anyway. You could probably die under the ground burrowing away. But the cocoon was never used to like blow up a target. It was used for Anubrak's own safety. So maybe something there would have been better. Other than that, yeah, I couldn't speak educatedly. Is that even a word? My God, I couldn't speak. I can't really speak on any of. It's a little late. It feels like 12 because of the time change. So don't judge me, everyone. But the Deckard build's interesting to me a little bit.
Yeah, there's. I
mean, everything's pretty usual.
Too unusual, I would say.
Like, I'd say this is an exact build that I went like yesterday, not in our games, but I don't know if the 13 is necessarily something that I would have picked against this other team with my team.
And I think probably just grab that to synergize with the Rainer here, but when you only have really one auto attack hero on your team, definitely worth considering other talent options at that tier.
Yeah, because I mean that's where you can get the larger pots, you know, which could have definitely helped out in some of these fights. But looking at the stats, you know, we see 52k to 60k healing, and the only reason that that number is a little lower is because the team was killed 21 times. Matt Kaiser was doing an excellent job healing the whole time.
Yeah, I will say he did have some beautiful stay a whiles and listens that really turned some fights and helped his team escape.
Spoiler alert, we need to invite Matt Kaiser to the Girls Gang Squad Discord.
Oh.
That's a she?
That's a she?
Mm-hmm.
No, there we go.
I played with her on my first NGS team.
Oh, really?
Fun fact for everyone in chat.
Yeah, get him on into the Discord then. What else is going on here? Anything else sticking out before we leave this stat screen? Oh, I know. It's the ETC level 20 going Bolt to the Storm. This one's always I don't know, this one's always like a personal preference I find with ETC players. A lot of them take that death mosh at level 20, but other people feel like I don't want to have to die to get value with my level 20. So they'll opt for something like Bolt of the Storm, which we did see ETC take here, and it worked out well for him and his team because they were able to set up these kind of bush ganks where at the end we saw him blink in and mosh the enemy team. So he did make good use of it, I think. It wasn't just used as a I'm afraid and going to use it as an escape tool. It was also used as a beautiful engage tool here.
Yeah, especially like it would have come in handy in the top. The first time they took a Punisher to core when ETC went for the slide and was just a hair too far away. But I think that it was a great choice for what they were trying to do, and they definitely utilized every bush on that map.
Yeah, Tour Bus is another one that I've seen as well. Rockwell saying she's seen some great Tour Bus plays. You're right. That's the other one that ETC is definitely one of those heroes you need to check the level 20 up what they're taking, because the way he's going to play ETC is going to completely change. You have to play around it. You have to realize that, okay, He's taken Death Mosh. We can't die and be too close to him when he goes down. Okay, he's taking Tour Bus. If he moshes, make sure you're still out of range of a power sled because you're going to get caught in that.
Yeah,
and
don't
if it's
group up.
Bolt of the Storm, well, be aware that at any moment he could blink into your back line and mosh.
Right, Bolt of the Storm, they're still in every single bush. Always be scared. Like, that's the moral of the story with that. But excellent job. Jakebot on ETC is absolutely scary. I think it's ban worthy.
Yes, I think so too. I think. Here's the thing: is I think that there was a lot of really good players here on the side of Illidancing Queens. I think it's a team communication thing that's going over really well for them in the fact that, sure, ETC found the slide, but Orphea and Greymane and Melthiel were so on point and following up on those targets and getting those kills secure that it's hard to just ban out the ETC and think that's going to solve the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Their communication was on point because we could just tell that from the moment a target was acquired. It just was disintegrated before our very eyes.
All right, we're still waiting on this next lobby to come up, but we'll leave that summary screen here now. What do you think we're going to be seeing going into game 2? This is going to allow Baddest dudes to choose between first pick or map pick. They chose first pick off the coin toss. Do you think they're going to stick with that?
Can you repeat the question? I was messaging Matt Kaiser about joining the Discord, my bad.
So Baddest dudes are going to have the option between first pick or map pick going into game number 2, and they won the coin toss and went with first pick. Do you think they're going to stick with first pick here, or do you think they're going to go to a map that they're comfortable on?
Well, I'm already in the lobby.
Oh, then you know.
So let me get you in here.
Yeah, that would
be... And then I'll answer your question. Just kidding. So it looks like we're going to see first pick going over to the side of Illidancing Queens. So this was a map pick by the side of Baddest dudes. Maybe their most comfortable map.
All right. This is the second night in a row. Did you guys play on Cursed Hollow last night?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I was saying I don't really see this one picked too often in NGS for whatever reason. Maybe it's just such a big map. But we're going to get to see it here tonight. Let's go over these map selections really quickly, give you guys a rundown of how we got where we're going. I'm going to update that score here real quickly as well. Illidancing Queens currently up 1 in the series. First game played on Infernal Shrines. The win picked up by Illidancing Queens. Going to game number 2, we are going to Cursed Hollow, picked by Baddest dudes for this map. If you're curious about those map bans, Alterac Pass and Battlefield of Eternity banned out by the Baddest dudes. On the side of Illidancing Queens, they've taken away Brax's Holdout and Dragonshire. We are waiting for a couple more members to join the lobby before we get into game number 2, but that should get you all caught up in this series so far.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Just 2 more members we're waiting on. Getting a response from Matt Kaiser in the DM here.
Are you, aside from maybe like an ETC ban, because you already mentioned that, is there other target bans you might see coming out? Do you think that maybe Illidancing Queens might consider banning like the Deckard potentially?
I think it's ban worthy. Matt Kaiser's word was just, I mean, the flanked stay-a-whiles and the stay-a-whiles to interrupt what we were trying to see from Illidancing Queens it's enough to ban, in my opinion. But this is a great Brightwing map, so will we see Born to Shine get that?
Yeah, true. And here's the other thing too. I'm just gonna let them know we're ready while we're talking about this. The Illidancing Queens in their first draft just hard focus banning out tanks. And that potentially is just a strategy that they might stick with here because that forced their tank on the side of the Baddest dudes to be an Anubarak, and we saw how much the Anubarak struggled as a frontline tank. So they might just stick with that Joanna Stitches ban once again.
Well, with first pick going over to Illidancing Queens, I could see a tank choke again because the Anubarak was definitely, no shade, one of the weakest links because the healing was there, just the self-sustain from the Anubarak. It wasn't. And the Malthael, though. Like, so there's so many things that were played so well on the side of Illidancing Queens that it's hard to tell if there was actually a weakness in any of the specific heroes from the players on the side of Baddest Dudes, honestly. Because Last Rites was just rough.
Yeah, well, not just Last Rites. You had Cursed Bullet and a Greymane diving in with the Last Rites on top of that. It just didn't matter what target was focused. They were dying. It was the tank. It could have been Yrel. If she didn't have her Ardent Defender, it didn't matter. They were going down there, and that's hard to play around. Like, you need some counter to Last Rites. And unfortunately, Decker doesn't provide that, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think even the delay on Cocoon, I don't know if that would fully do anything for it.
Oh, here we go. Into game number 2 here on Cursed Hollow between the Baddest Dudes and Illidancing Queens. Illidancing Queens up 1 game right now in the series here. Got a couple new, or I should say fresh faces. They're not new, but they're new in tonight. Rockwell's joining us. How are you doing, Rockwell? Callie Yrel is here as well. Joe Mart, and Ghostly Tree Man. I hope you guys are doing fantastic.
Ghostly, tonight. What's up? Hello, everyone in chat. Enjoy your shaded areas in this hot and sweaty matchup. First ban. Who will it be? Deckard Cain? No, it's the Johanna. Yeah, it's Johanna. Jazzy.
Yeah, so this makes me think that Illidancing Queens are going to stick with their strat of just banning and targeting the tank player on the Baddest Dudes. And we're going to see the same ban coming out from the Baddest Dudes, Diablo being taken away. And I don't really blame them. Cursed Hollow is one of those maps where Diablo can find walls for days in these team fights.
True. But Cursed Hollow is a map where stage dive could be something that's utilized too. If UTC is picked up, I don't know.
And there we go. Illidancing Queen saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Gonna span out that Stitches once again.
All right, well, that's Dax with his homework, sharing it with the class. Seeing the Stitches gone again. Not a typical ban, so clearly a target ban. Second ban before first pick will be the Stukov again. Just something they don't want to deal with, even though the Anduin was so on point. Is this a Brightwing pickup, or will we see the tank again?
So last time we saw Illidancing Queens, or sorry, the Baddest Dudes had first pick, and Illidancing Queens locked in Orphea ETC for their first picks here. So I don't know if they're going to prioritize a tank. They're going to prioritize the Greymane.
Okay. So with Dax picking that up, it leads me to believe that perhaps there's someone on the side of Baddest Dudes that plays it as well, or is fearful that would be banned.
Gojira's asking, is this...
It's an interesting first pick.
Oh, Gaslo Deckard. Gojira's asking if this is Division E. Yes, this is Division E. We have a Division D game to follow this up at 8:15. So in about an hour here.
All right, so Gaslo's slightly nerfed, but still pretty rough to deal with. Not something that would have been banned anyway. There's the ETC picked up, Li Ming this time by Seztrin. And yeah, I'd be looking for counters to those bush ganks and the exceptional team fights that we've seen from Illidancing Queens if I were the side of Baddest Dudes. Possibly taking away a piece of their puzzle for blowups. I know that the Chastise from Anduin was pivotal, and there's the Anduin ban.
I was gonna say maybe they ban the Malthael as well, because the whole Cursed Bullet Last Rites combo coming out last game just shredded through their front line, and they had nothing left and just were on the retreat the entire time. But they're gonna ban the Anduin out instead. I don't know that this was the right ban for them to fix Illidancing Queen's comp here. I imagine they're gonna stick to something similar, because
okay,
Born to Shine plays a variety of different healers. I don't know that Anduin. Maybe they want the light bomb out of there. I guess.
Perhaps.
Extra CC taken off the table.
I respect that Varian ban though. I don't know if you read the patch notes, Jazzy, but Varian received a buff and is on par health-wise now and more viable as a main tank. And so it's even more of a tank choke, but instead of the Anubrak, we see Muradin picked up as well as a Junkrat, which I believe someone in chat was saying something about Junkrat. It was Ghostly. Nice.
Yeah, Ghostly said Junkrat on this map is fun. So we are going to see that Junkrat being locked in now on the side of the Baddest dudes. Muradin as well, as you said. And Illidancing Queen's looking to pick up their last two things here. It's going to be Brightwing's, or Born to Shine's Brightwing, and the Blaze getting picked up as well.
Yeah. Oh, you see the Leoric this time picked up by Durlock. He does play a pretty good Leoric. I know that he received some coaching from our mutual friend, Not Paradox, specifically for that hero. So I'm excited to see his progress on that.
And Junkrat, sorry, Joe Martin chat saying Junkrat is super powerful. Junkrat is definitely one of those heroes that you see being used in higher tier play way more often than I do in you know, I would even say Diamond and below. Not as often picked up, but here we are. We're going to get to see it played by the Baddest dudes tonight.
The unfortunate thing about Junkrat is that he's a lot of poke damage, and his blow-up potential isn't really there. If we see a slide, a poly, and just any abilities from Greymane and Li Ming
Yeah, I was just going to add to that, you're saying their blow-up potential isn't really there. Well, that kind of makes me think that Leoric, if he goes in Tomb, there might not be any value to be grabbed there if they can't secure kills off of the Entomb.
Yeah, not a lot of blow-up damage. More just poke and annoyance from the side of Baddest dudes. But maybe they'll take it over. We do see a taunt from the Junkrat. Let's introduce these teams.
All right. Let me just flip my overlay here. But on the left-hand side, we are going to have the Baddest dudes with Mad Kaiser on the Deckard, Savior on the Junkrat, Ghost of AJ on that Muradin, Durlock playing the Leoric, and Demon Gran on the Gazlo.
And on the red side, playing for Illidancing Queens, we have Born to Shine playing Brightwing, Dax on Greymane once again, Yotaru playing Blaze, Jakebot on his ETC, and Seztran on Li Ming. We already see someone in top and bottom lane from the side of Baddest dudes, so they're not looking for this middle fight, they're just looking for experience.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. Just looking at those level 1 talents, we do have ETC talenting into Prog Rock. We're going to see him step up, trying to secure some kills there, some CC onto the side of the Baddest dudes. Not quite working out. And we also have Deckard talenting into Scroll of Identify, so he's going to be stacking that as well.
All right, so the armor reduction is something that Mad Kaiser's looking for. Can definitely help with the blow up. But I'm curious to see how this Gazlo will play out here. It's just so weird to cast a Gazlo, if I'm being completely honest.
He's one of those heroes where, like, I'm not sure the right way to build a comp around him is. Because I still feel like he is more of like a siege a lane down kind of player, set up for objectives, but not really like a huge team fight, except for when he throws out his Gravo Bomb. I guess that's his big piece. But so like, do you take a bruiser with Gazlo, or is Gazlo your bruiser and you just still take 2 assassins with him? I don't know. It's like playing with a Zagara. It's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bruiser, but he does quite a bit of damage. I like what we saw from the side of Baddest dudes here. They picked up their bruiser but didn't cap it, went for their siege, and we already have the siege camp cleared up bottom lane that Illidancing Queen sent out. Actually, no, it's still there. I can't see it. My eyes won't register.
I do wish that Illidancing Queens had opted to hold off capping their siege camp if they had gone for bruiser camp first and then the siege camp. This would have been pushing during the objective phase instead. They would have been capping it about now, and it would be walking down the lane. Objective spawns in 30 seconds.
Right, Baddest dudes are going to have the upper hand though if they're able to clear this bruiser before capping theirs, which they did just cap it. We have 20 seconds until the objective spawns, so hopefully it gets some value for them. But Jakebot in this bush above, Muradin is at 25% health, uses Dwarf Toss right as Jakebot was about to strike Jazzy.
Rockwell is asking, would it be killer combo to have Leoric Entomb with the Junkrat Rocket Ride the Entomb? Or even Riptire it, I guess. That's your blow up. Like, that's really all you have.
Like a Gravo
and
Rocket Ride.
Did you see that? Brightwing, like, just managed to get that trib before the Junkrat bomb went off on her there. That's going to be the first tribute going over to the side of Illidancing Queens as both teams look to clear out these camps that are left in their lanes and push back their lanes here.
Yeah, well, the Bruiser is at this fort wall already, just Sestrin there to clear it up. So there is a little bit of value for the Baddest dudes. Jazzalone's still bottom lane, just slowly trying to put some pressure. I feel like I like this heavy siege comp and thick comp from the Baddest dudes, even though they don't have the blow up.
Yeah, I mean, now that we're kind of talking about it, chat is right. Like, they don't have blow up on their basic abilities, but they do have blow up in their ults. If they do Entomb, either way, it doesn't matter, but they time a Gravo Bomb with a Riptire or a Rocket Ride, that's going to be a lot of damage onto Illidancing Queens, and it's a lot of AoE damage on top of that, too. It's not single target burst damage. That can hit quite a few members.
Yeah. I think that we've just seen a lot of learning from Baddest dudes from that last game. Having this Muradin just able to escape those slides from ETC is already... they're faring better over here on the side of Baddest dudes, at least this round.
Here's Brightwing using that phase shift to heal up Blaze, but that's going to leave her a little bit in the back line of the Baddest dudes. Blaze getting quite chunked here. Stun coming out onto the Gray main. They're looking to finish off the Muradin, but didn't quite, or weren't able to find it. And now Leoric backing out using his ghost form to walk on out of there. As Brightwing slowly but surely heals up the side of Illidancing Queens.
Yeah, that's kind of it when it comes to Brightwing is, you know, when you use your phase shift, like that's your heal. And it's got to be at the right time. Although blue team was getting chunked a bit, red team is more so chunked, and they're not done fighting. It's like they're willing to risk it all here.
No, they're both.
But Mad Kaiser and those Scrolls of Sealing are just devastating.
They're both just kind of poking back and forth, trying to get the damage that they need. Li Ming gets a reset here, and that can kind of turn it around for her team. Greymane going in to try and get the pick onto the Gazlo. Not quite working out, but Muradin going to be the first one to fall here. That's first blood in favor of Illidancing Queens, but they're looking pretty low in this engage here. Can they continue to stick around here and delay this trib? We have Ming tossing out an orb, but that does not connect onto Deckard, and the trib going over to the side of the Baddest dudes.
Yeah, that's what you get when you have a thick comp like Baddest dudes has. You know, it's going to be hard to just blow them up. So well played by both sides. Just crazy times. I'm excited to see how they scale and how Illidancing Queens will prioritize their targets considering their large health pools.
An interesting thing to note here is the Ming is going orb build here. So Baddest dudes really needs to make sure that they're dodging those orbs so she doesn't get the lower cooldown and get those out faster. Now, trib coming up on the side of the Baddest dudes. These camps are getting picked up. Siege Giants picked up on the side of Illidancing Queens, pushing bottom. Level 10's online for them now. We do see Brightwing talenting into Blink Heal. Crucible being picked up by the Greymane. Blaze and Ming holding off on their ults, but Mosh locked in for the ETC.
Now looking for the Bush King, we see Baddest dudes. Jakebot rotating and Demon Grand stepping up. They have level 10s now, but the Scroll of Sealing, like I said, is too much. There's Disintegrate coming out too, and here's a Stay a While. We see Blaze actually E into it. ETC still sleeping, now looking to come turn things around here.
Level 10's online for the Baddest dudes as well. Here comes the Riptire from the Junkrat connecting onto a few members of Illidancing Queens. The positioning, though, coming out from the Baddest dudes right now is not helpful. The Deckard is cut off from the rest of his team. We do see the Gazlo rotating around to try and help him out over here. But everyone's just kind of split up everywhere. Born to Shine getting chased down by the Murden right now. Polymorph comes out, stunned from the Blaze. Murden getting chunked really quickly here. Can they find the kill that they need to get? The quotient does not connect. They are going to get the pick onto Murden. Bunker dropped by the Blaze. Leoric going in, trying to get the pick onto Li Ming, but it doesn't work out for him. He does get picked off in the process here. And it looks like Dax maybe trying to get the pick on a Gazlo, but deciding to back off here. ETC continuing to engage and trying to zone off the members here. Here comes the stun from Blaze onto the Junkrat, who uses his concussion mine to get out of there. ETC not quite able to catch him as he rotates out, but they do get that trib. So 2-1 in tributes now in favor of Illidancing Queens, as well as a couple kills picked up there for them.
Yeah, and I mean, even though we're seeing a lot of damage coming out from Sestrin, Orb build, I don't think is the best call here with those turrets constantly in the way from Gazlo. It makes it difficult, and we see those long, drawn-out fights. Granted, Baddest dudes didn't get any kills, but it was so close, and if they're scaling, if you will, it's only going to be a matter of time before, you know, you'll just wish you could Calamity in there.
Yeah.
Basically. Basically.
We are seeing the next tribute spawn in here. It is going to be over on the side of Illidancing Queens on the bottom lane. They're going to try and get that pick onto Li Ming. She is going to be able to teleport out of there, and she's going to survive just fine. But she's going to cut off now. Her rest of her team sitting above her, and the Baddest dudes are really zoning her out from joining this team fight. Junkrat still sitting down there, and look at this, just the amazing target burst damage that we have been seeing all night from Illidancing Queens. They immediately turn onto the Leoric, knock him down, bunker out from Blaze, ETC and the Blaze jumping into that there, and now the team fight 5-4 in favor of Illidancing Queens. Power slide coming out from the ETC. They are going to catch the Gazlo, but Li Ming getting picked off by that Riptire.
Li Ming finally able to step up after being zoned out by a trap from Junkrat. Just gets obliterated right away. There's a concussion mine. Born to Shine displaced. Using her cleanse is entombed with a bomb underneath her, and cleanse used, or medallion rather, by Jakebot, but that is 2 kills.
I think she could have survived there. She had her minion. She had her minion wave up, and Jake was also there. She had her blink heal. She could have gotten out of there, but she tried to phase shift instead, which just left her standing still for too long. But level 13's online now for Illidancing Queens. And this is going to be a fun tribute to see them fight over next year, as this one is going to give Curse over to the winners.
Yeah, 2-2. Structures are even. So, I don't know, Jazzy. Sweaty over here. We see the Bruiser getting picked up by Illidancing Queens.
I love seeing chat. It's a 30-second delay, so they're all freaking out over the Leo play now. The Entomb on the Brightwing. And here's this this next tribute coming up here. It does look like teams coming to position for this. Li Ming a little bit late here, but not too much happening yet. Jakebot kind of positioning forward to make sure that he's around to frontline interrupt, but that's going to cause him a lot of damage onto his health bar. Leoric in the backline. Big Mosh coming out. Stay a while and listen to interrupt the Junkrat. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. The Junkrat Riptire with the Gravel Bomb. That's going to do some work here, and the Entomb coming in to catch the rest of the surviving members. Down goes the Blaze, ETC, and Brightwing falling in that fight as well.
And that's what I'm talking about with those scrolls of sealing coming out from Mad Kaiser. Those roots are devastating and have been from the start.
That Dax is going to get caught there. We'll use her thing. But you're chat kind of right about the fact that if they are able to time these ultimates together, use that Gravel Bomb with the Riptire, the Entomb to keep everyone in place on top of that, either after or before all the damage goes out, can be very, very effective. You just have to be able to communicate and do the same kind of target calling that we've been seeing from Illidancing Queens tonight. Gazlo getting caught here. Blaze going in, landing that stun onto the Gazlo. Ghost of AI kind of caught out. We have that Entomb coming out from the Leoric, but Ming able to blink out of that. There's a bit of a skirmish here. They are going to get that pick onto the Junkrat. Yotaru also getting quite low. Born to Shine in a little bit of trouble as well. Greymane going in to try and get that pick onto Leo. The Disintegrate connecting onto him, getting that, finally finishing him off here. But is Yotaro going to be able to survive that? That bunker had to be dropped, so that's down here. And it looks like he is out now. He's got enough health to continue on in this fight. JakeBot continuing to push up through this. Dax rolling on into the enemy team, looking to try and get some more damage. And we do have that stun connecting onto the Muradin here. But I think this is going to be it. In fact, Illidancing Queens might be abandoning the Blaze if they're not careful. But Born to Shine coming back to get that blink heal. Level 16's online for the Baddest Dudes.
Baddest Dudes too thick with 2 C's. Too thick with 2 C's. Just once cooldowns are over, it's like good luck chipping away at them. The healing is absolutely wild from Mad Kaiser. So looks like we're going to see Baddest Dudes go for their boss. It is not even at half yet, and we have almost all members of Illidancing Queens on this side of the map. I don't think they're going to go contest, though. It's a little bit too late for them. So this is a great play by the side of Baddest Dudes, considering the fact that they just had their curse, and Illidancing Queens can easily pick up the next curse if they win the team fight. Dax already starting the boss at the top side of the map, but it's rough.
This is dangerous. They're coming up here to rotate to try and catch them on this boss, and that's going to be what happens. And if they lose the team fight, they lose bottom keep, potentially even the game here, as that top keep looking pretty weak right now as well.
Weak and whittled. This grouped up scenario isn't going to be great for Baddest Dudes either. JakeBot sliding around, maybe looking for a mosh, but Stay a While comes out instead. Help pings onto Dax, who's zoned out and just blown up by the Riptire. Bunker was dropped, but Yotaro and Clan are all over this Muradin. Orbs coming out, not connecting, won't get that reset. Yotaro just will be taken out as well. And this is the Entomb onto Born to Shine. No one's close enough for that blink heal. We do hear a reset, but unfortunately that's nearly a 5-man team wipe in favor of Baddest Dudes. So good job. Kind of an unfortunate time to go for that boss, knowing they had just picked up their bottom one, probably looking for a double boss play.
You know, these fights aren't going to get any easier for them either, because Junkrat at level 20 has that Riptire cooldown reduction on his level 20 if he talents into that. So we can expect to see him throwing out a few Riptires in a fight with how clumped up these team fights have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just constant Riptires coming out, hitting, what is it, 3 people for the cooldown? But that boss did make its way past the keep onto the core. It took maybe just the tiniest percent of shielding away. And now we're seeing Illidancing Queens turn onto the point where they're having to look for experience, because they're going to be down level 20 soon if they are not careful.
They do have this boss to clear out, and it does look like the Baddest Dudes are going to step up to try and secure this keep. This is a pretty healthy boss, so I don't blame them. But keep in mind, they don't have that level 20 advantage yet, so this is an opportunity here for Illidancing Queens to try and take a fight on equal talent here if they want it. Greymane getting stunned by the Muradin. Curse of Bullet going out, getting the Muradin quite low. The Stay a While and Listen interrupted here. We do have the Gravel Bomb coming out, but it does not connect onto any members of Illidancing Queens. They are looking to try and get this fight done before level 20s are hit. Stay a While and Listen comes out, and there's the Bunker from the Blaze. He's in that bunker trying to survive here. Riptire comes out. They need to spread out a little bit here. Bunker is down. He's just kind of sitting on that. Come on, members, you can kill the tire. You can kill the tire. You don't need to sit in that.
Oh! And the Riptire did hit them. Excellent discipline from the Junkrat and waiting. I would just explode that thing right there, but good for him and his patience. So we still could see a curse for Illidancing Queens, but it doesn't look like they want that. And unfortunately, when the next tribute spawns, level 20s will be picked up for the Baddest Dudes. So they're just... It would have been, I think, okay to see Illidancing Queens fight because they only have one ult that's on cooldown.
Yeah, they definitely felt like that was their opportunity there to try and turn something around, but they just all jumped in a bunker for so long waiting for a Riptire to explode. I just kind of, just so chat knows, you can kill the Riptire. You can just auto it, even if you're not going to hit your abilities. You can just auto it down.
Yeah, I think the idea of it hurting multiple people was more terrifying. I don't know. Either way, it still hit them and exploded. Level 20s picked up for the side of Baddest dudes. And even with the level 16 orb talent from Ming, we... oh, actually, it's the mirror ball talent. I was curious why the orbs weren't hitting. Okay, so we see mirror ball picked up.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Sort of
I was
with
like,
the
wow.
talent into orb at 4 and 7, and then don't take it at 16. I feel like 16 is finally when orb build comes online.
Right. I was like, wow, these orbs aren't hitting even with 16,
Oh,
but no.
big Entomb coming out, and that is silenced. A huge gravel bomb on top of that Riptire coming out. We have that cooldown reduction as well, so he's going to have that back up in 20 seconds. 3 members going down on the side of Illidancing Queens. Ghost of AJ jumping in there, trying to get that pick onto the Li Ming as well. She's doing what she can to blink out of there. The stun connects onto her, though. Brightwing trying to heal her up, but it's not going to be enough. 4 members down on the side of Illidancing Queens for none, and here's a core call coming out.
Excellent job. I mean, I think this is definitely GG. And something that I've said a long time ago when casting Div D and Div E games is like, I feel like we see them create the new meta in HOTS, and seeing this triple bruiser comp, is it the new meta?
I have seen other teams run this like double
Wow.
bruiser type thing. Now I'm gonna have to remember who it was in my notes here. I have to flip back.
This is triple. Isn't Gazlo a bruiser? This is triple bruiser.
Well, you don't count Muradin as one though. So
You're right.
Gazlo, Lior,
He's a tank.
two.
You're right. My bad. You're right. My bad. Wow.
What team was it that I've seen running that like similar, like a double?
I hear
bruiser comp?
your Heroes of the Storm notebook.
Yeah, I know.
The
I am
page is
flipping
flipping.
through, trying to figure out who it was that was doing this recently. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it, but I've probably even gone too far back. But one of the other teams in a different division has run it a couple times. They've done it with like a Melthiel and Sonya, or like a Melthiel and Diva.
Okay. Well, that specific comp worked out for them, and I don't think Illidancing Queens is ready for it. I mean, you could ban Stitches all day long, ban Johanna, but would you ever expect an Entomb Gravo Bomb Riptire scenario? Absolutely not. Mm-mm. Nope.
Chat's like, we saw it coming. We told ya.
Oh, my bad.
Let's just take a look at the scoreboard a little bit closer here in terms of those kills, but this time heavily favoring the Baddest dudes. This is gonna make an exciting game number 3 here. I'm excited to see if we see some changes in those bans coming out, a little bit more target banning on maybe some of the things we just saw in that game. What are your thoughts here?
I'm not sure. I feel like the world is the oyster of both of these teams, and I don't know what's going to happen game 3. I can tell you that Dax doesn't like to lose, you know? So I could see Illidancing Queens getting a little sweaty here. I've said it at least 14 times tonight. And I think they're gonna come back swinging. I would ban maybe the Leoric. He's still strong.
It's Resurgence of the Storm. That's the team. They've ran their front line was Joanna, Diva, Sonya, and then their next one that I did was May, Diva, Melthiel. So they've been doing some double bruiser comps, and then the games I casted before they did Diva and Melthiel, and then they did Melthiel and Thrall. And I think these are series that they ended up taking the win in as well. So it's not the first time I've seen this double type bruiser option come out.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think you're right in the fact that people are going double bruiser quite a bit. It's just such an interesting pick, only having like the Junkrat as your assassin in that scenario. But I'm curious which map we're going to go to. I did send you a message on Discord.
All right. Well, let's. Is our lobby up yet? We're still waiting on that. I guess.
I don't see a lobby yet. I see Dax in Hero Select. Oh, there is a lobby up. I'm gonna hop
Perfect.
into it, and I will be right back.
I'm gonna wait for the invite. Hopefully, we're not too long getting into this game because we do have another game to cast at 8:15, so that's 25 minutes away. So we're going to be getting right from this game right into our next game here right after with Puns Upon a Time. I think I might just hit up the teams that we're casting next just to let them know we're going into a third game right now, and apologize if we're a few minutes late.
I am back.
All right. Okay, we are going to Tomb of the Spider Queen for our last game. I'm going to let them know we're ready because we have our next series to cast at 8:15. So hopefully we can get through this game fast enough to get an interview in and not show up too late to our next cast.
Yeah.
I feel like my hair is a mess today. It's just really fluffy and all over the place.
Yeah, that's same, which is why I was like, no chem for me tonight.
All right, let's give you a rundown here of these map selections, how we got here, where we're going before we jump into this game. But, and I haven't updated it yet, or the score, which I'll do right now. We are going to see game number 3 played on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It does look like this map was picked by Illidancing Queens.
All right, so they're giving away first pick for the first time here. I would consider banning the ETC over Diablo if I were Baddest Dudes on this map.
Yeah, and the other thing I would also be a little bit worried about is maybe change up your strategy of just focus targeting tanks here. That Gazlo is still very popular right now, even with the slight nerfs that he saw in this patch. And I think that people have said, he's a strong hero. So now that you know that the Baddest Dudes plays a Gazlo, played it pretty competently. We had some beautiful gravel bombs coming out, followed up by the Junkrat ETC. Maybe just take, or the Junkrat Riptire, maybe just take some of those pieces of the puzzle away from them so they can't just run the same comp again and put some target bans somewhere else.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting few bans from both teams. I know that Johanna's been targeted, but do you let a Johanna through and ban a Gazlo?
Yeah, potentially. I don't know why they're so afraid of Stitches, personally, especially since they've been playing these comps that like to dive in there and blow targets up. I feel like just leave the Stitches up. Like, even if you do have a target that gets hooked, well, you have a Greymane, Malthael, ETC to just blow up the Stitches and dive in when somebody gets hooked, so.
Yeah. All right, looks like we are finally going to get into draft.
All right. So if you're just joining in, we did see game number 1 played on Infernal Shrines, picked up by the Baddest Dudes. Game number 2 on Cursed Hollow, or sorry, the win picked up by Illidancing Queens, and Cursed Hollow, the win picked up by the Baddest Dudes. And now game number 3 on Tomb of the Spider Queen to decide the winner of this series.
All right, so instead of the Diablo, I'm thinking we're gonna see the ETC ban. I know they were able to kind of counter him, but all right, ETC to me is still just stronger than Diablo on this map.
Looks like they're just sticking with the same strategy of bans here.
Yeah, so that means we'll see the Stukov ban here, possibly. Maybe ETC instead because of the deep hero pool.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well, first pick.
Well,
First
we
pick
do
time.
we do have a little bit of change in bans
Yeah.
here. They do target the Deckard going into the third match instead of taking away the Stitches. So the Stitches is up and available for the Baddest Dudes to grab here if that's a comfort pick for their tank player.
True, but I was gonna say incoming Gazlo, and there it is. So they're gonna have to deal with that. But I will say it's very wise to get rid of the Deckard Kane because Mad Kaiser plays that so well, as we've seen. ETC still available. Most likely will need to be picked up right now if Illidancing Queen wants it. Queens, rather, plural. And there it is, with the Anduin once more.
Yeah, Anduin ETC being locked in here. Not too surprised here. These are things we've seen being played on the side of Illidancing Queens. I'm curious to see if whether Dax can get another pick up on the Grey Main.
Possibly. I was gonna say Junkrat is great on this map, and there's the Stitches. It's like we're seeing their favorite heroes picked up on the side of Baddest Dudes. Those traps can offer so much vision.
Yeah. The other thing too is if they're gonna go with the strategy of power sliding and blowing and everyone just collapsing onto one target, that's really scary to have a grav bomb and a rip tire to basically catch everyone who's diving in on that target.
Yeah. So they take away the Malfurion, possibly something else that Mad Kaiser plays. With those hooks, a route would just be further lockdown. Who will the final ban be? Is it going to be the Greymane, perhaps?
I think they're definitely going to look to ban out something we've seen tonight, so that could be the Orphea, the Greymane, potentially a Malthael. Interesting.
Okay, it's Azul. And I also wouldn't be surprised to see the Leoric picked up here again by Baddest Dudes too, unless we see it picked up by Illidancing Queens. But the Zul is definitely interesting.
Vanquish the weak.
Interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
you know, Maev, Jaina, ETC can really combo well and entertainingly together, if that's a word. But you have a
We don't know words tonight.
You have a warden's cage and you mosh inside the warden's cage, so even if they try to escape, they just get bounced back into the mosh, and then you follow it up with the Jaina ring, and it's just a ton of CC and blow up damage there.
But what about a concussion mine? Like, you know, if you're not caught, there's displacement. Also, we have polymorph now. So I'm intrigued with the comp on the side of Baddest Dudes, but I love a Jaina on this map and an ETC. So there you have it. The Malthael again. People's nightmares coming back to face them in game 3. I'm excited.
Oh, Dax is playing Jaina too.
Yeah. Bringing out the mage.
I'm scared for them because they're so squishy here. At least Maev can avoid some damage by using her trait. And there's Ice Block if that gets finished out early enough. to avoid the grab bomb Riptire combo. I'm scared for them though, because they're squishy, and you know we're gonna see that whole combo of the Entomb, the Gravo Bomb, and the Riptire all on top of each other.
But if we don't see Light Bomb, we could see Anduin save them somehow.
Yeah, I guess he could go Holy Word Salvation and hope he doesn't get interrupted. It's, I'm nervous for them. I would be nervous playing this one.
Yeah,
there's a lot more that can go
nervous
wrong
too.
for them than can go right.
Prepare yourselves. The battle.
All right, well, game 3, Jazzy. Let's get into announcing them. I'll start this time with
Yeah.
Illidancing Queens on the red side. We have Anduin, played by Born to Shine, Jaina, played by Dax, Malthael, played by Yotaru, ETC, played by Jakebot, and one moment, Maiev, played by Seztrin.
And on the left-hand side, we have the Baddest Dudes with Ghost of AJ playing the Stitches, Mad Kaiser on the Brightwing, Demon Grand on that. I want to keep saying it doesn't look like Gazlo, but it's Gazlo. Savior on the Junkrat, and Leoric being played by Durlock.
Good luck, have fun in chat with a whole bunch of confetti things. What we saw last game was an immediate split from the side of Baddest Dudes, experience getting soaked in top and bot. That is a much larger map though, but I think that was part of their success was having that talent tier advantage in a few of the team fights. So they're gonna want to keep that up, I think.
Do you have Malthael in that bottom lane facing off against the Leoric for that matchup? The rest of the team's just going with that 4-man rotation, and we do see the ETC getting concussion mined underneath the towers of Baddest Dudes, and now the hook coming out onto the Anduin, and that's going to be first blood onto the Anduin, followed up by second blood on the ETC in favor of the Baddest Dudes here.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Born to Shine, how she made her way all the way over there. I don't think she was hit in the first concussion
She got
mine.
hooked.
Oh no.
Yeah. So a lot of displacement on the side of the Baddest Dudes, as we're seeing here. And that leap of faith, you know, is kind of a long cooldown. It's only going to be able to save you once in a while.
Yeah, and I mean, just flash heal. You have to kind of stand there for a second to cast it. So with the displacement and the hooks, you're just an open target. You're going to have like people in front of you, position yourself behind your teammates to even consider pressing your Q as Anduin. But both teams pretty even in experience.
Yeah, Yotaru's kind of been doing quite well in this bottom lane, having that shove forward. So we've seen him kind of rotate up and take a peek at mid a couple times now.
He did go Fear the Reaper, so although he did rotate mid, I don't think he's doing any sort of weird rotation. Just trying to keep vision. Durlock on his Leoric again is just patiently waiting to clear the waves.
I don't think there's really any reason to pick up on a Pale Horse on this map. It's such a tiny map.
Absolutely
that
not.
mount speed is kind of pointless here. We do see that the Baddest Dudes have that Bruiser Camp pushing mid right now with the wave crashing. Going to get a little bit of damage here. And here's the hook connecting onto the ETC. Polymorph comes out as well. Maiev in there landing the bind, pulling some members around on the side of the Baddest Dudes. But everyone able to survive for this engage. A little bit of damage being taken on that mid-front wall fort here.
Ooh, Dax having to readjust to not playing Greymane. Stepping up in melee. We'll just need to play it safely. There's another hook. Seztrin using trait Face Melt, knocking back the team, trying to take down the Maiev. And Baddest Dude's looking pretty clean.
I'm just taking a look down here at this the solo lane. We do have Yotaru once again pushing that wave up into the wall of side of Baddest Dudes. He's currently sitting with 19 gems on the Malthael that'll need to be turned in at some point.
We already have enough for turn in on the side of Baddest Dudes, just one away for Illidancing Queens, but with the zoning potential from Baddest Dudes, it's going to be a hell of a time for Illidancing Queens to be able to step up and actually get the channel to get their gems in.
You know, I'm really surprised that we didn't see a gray main pick up. I guess they were... Maybe they're just going for the Maiev Wombo combo with the Mosh and stuff, but I just feel like it would be so easy just to pick off a Stitches as a main tank with a gray main on your team.
Yeah.
And I guess, too, we got to account for the fact that Malthael isn't in these 4v4s in the mid-top lanes right now, and he's going to be able to shred Stitches as well, so...
Speaking of Malthael, though, there's 25 gems, and we see Stitches down in this bottom half of the map, kind of just meleeing him while Durlock tries to get his 14 gems in. He will be successful, and that'll be the first Webweaver phase going over to the side of Baddest Dudes.
Yeah, right now Baddest Dudes just slightly ahead on XP, but nothing too big of a lead here. Nothing that we can't see Illidancing Queens make up here.
Right, those early picks didn't really do much for experience, and although Baddest Dudes are a little bit ahead, we can definitely see Illidancing Queens come back here. Here's a hook.
Kind of splitting resources here, leaving the Jazzalene top to push out that spider while 3 members of Baddest Dudes in the mid lane trying to push that in. Hook goes out onto Anduin, just threads the needle there between the minions to grab him. Fortunately, Anduin able to back out, but that ETC getting knocked back in by the concussion mine. And again, just all of that displacement coming out on the side of Baddest Dudes is going to cost ETC his life here. And now that XP lead starting to widen a little bit more, Baddest Dudes almost up to full level now.
Ooh, yeah. I think the Junkrat was an excellent pickup for Baddest Dudes here. When you see someone with a Junkrat that has purchased rings, it can be a little intimidating, and especially if you end up on Towers of Doom. He's a great hero for this map, and those concussion mines are getting some value.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that that wasn't the second ban we saw coming out from Illidancing Queens when they locked the Gazlo as their first pick. You already knew that the potential was there for them to run the exact same comp that they did last time, and they ran it very, very efficiently. So, to prioritize the Deckard over the Junkrat ban, I'm not sure if that was the call that they should have made.
Right, especially considering Mad Kaiser has a hero pool outside of Deckard too. They just maybe weren't concerned about it, but I think the bigger concern is not who's healing them, but who's keeping them from controlling their characters. Yotaro looking to be roughed up here because Tins are online and Tomb comes out. 34 gems gone.
ETC trying to rotate down, thinking about getting those gems. He does power slide through, but unfortunately not in time. Leap of Faith out to save ETC from getting picked off there.
Yeah, it's getting very close. That middle fort is just at such low health. Tin's now picked up for the side of Illidancing Queens, but a second turn-in just on the horizon for Baddest Dudes here.
Yeah, this is where if they can manage to get this turn-in, they can really start to snowball the match in their favor here. So you start
losing. They are able to get it.
Yeah, you start losing structures on the side of Illidancing Queen, and it makes it really hard to turn in what gems they do have because you have nothing to fall back to if you get caught on your rotations. You have those periodic Kata spawning in, and here's the N2 from Leora catching ETC, Light Bomb coming out, but this is the combo that I was talking about. Here's the Warden's Cage with the Mosh, with the Ring of Frost, and we see 3 members down on the side of the Baddest Dudes, which means Illidancing Queen's able to clean up these spiders for free now, maybe even find a couple more picks. So it is Durlock using that Gladiator's Medallion to try and escape, and Stitches able to walk away even after that last Rites was popped on him.
I'm not even going to say a clean execution of that combo, but such an amazing combo. Just yikes. Good job by them. These Webweavers are still pushing, but like you said, they're going to clear them up for free. Last Rites did go out onto the Stitches. Didn't kill him, but I don't think they're going to be losing a fort. Mid still hangs on by a thread. I think it's going to go down from a team effort by Baddest Dudes.
Yeah, they're going for that now. That top fort also looking a little bit in danger here, but 79 gems on the side of Illidancing Queen, so you can expect them to try and look for that turn in now, and they've caught up on that XP lead as well.
I think the only way they're going to get the turn in is if they do their wombo again, take some people out, and then go for it. The displacement is just too strong on the side of Baddest Dudes. But it's risky.
Zell in chat saying Stitches just farted his way to safety.
Ew.
All right, Gazlo getting caught
slide.
here on this rotation. We have the phase shift coming out from the right wing, and here's the Grabo bomb, but a little bit of weird synergy happening there as he got knocked out of the Grabo bomb.
Yeah, the Emerald Wind definitely screwed the pooch for that Ring of Frost, but there's the Warden's Cage with an Entomb thrown over it by the opposing team. They were hoping to get those picks to get turn in, but unfortunately just one member went down. Yotaro able to turn in 12 gems, but they literally just have 12 out of the 91
yeah,
or so that they
Gazlo is
had.
just being a pain here because he's stepping up, dropping a turret, getting it to focus the person doing the turn in and interrupt every time. And look at this. Junkrat back up for the fight here, and mana looking pretty low on the side of Illidancing Queens if they stick around. Yotaru has zero, like no mana here, and here's the hook onto the ETC.
Dax was trying to turn in bot, but Durlock interrupted him down there. He's going back for it with 14, but too squishy as a mage. He'll have to back out.
ETC's...
Looks like ETC is going to get it top.
All right, now let's just see what Illidancing Queens can do with this pickup here. Here's the Mosh coming out from ETC. Does manage to catch a couple members, but the Gravel Bomb out from the Gazlo. They are going to get that pick onto Junkrat. Maiev managing to blink out of there before the Entomb catches her. And it's the Malthael trying to get that pick onto Leoric, but he can't quite find it. He's running out of mana, has to pop that Gladiator's... Or sorry, actually it was... He didn't pop his Gladiator's medallion. There was a cleanse? He went unstoppable. Oh, he probably took the level 13. Yeah, that's what it was. It was his inevitable end that he popped. I'm like, how did he do that?
He has extra buttons. He's map hacking. He's hacking. There's a hook that actually pulls Sestrin into the tower that hadn't been taken down yet. Something I'd like to point out too was Mad Kaiser there using Emerald Wind, then phase shifting. Excellent job by them. And this Webweaver phase will not be taking any structures yet. Bottom looking a little pressured though.
The only ult on the side of Illidancing Queens right now is that Warden's Cage, but they don't have much. Oh, they have the Light Bomb now as well to pair with it, meaning they're backing out here. They do manage to get that bottom fort. As much as I'm enjoying this game, I was really hoping that it's not going to be one of those 30-minute Tomb of the Spider Queen games, because our next match is supposed to be in 3 minutes.
I don't know if this will be over by then, Jazzy. However, we do have another turn in for the side of Illidancing Queens, and we're so close for Baddest Dudes. Level 16's almost picked up for Illidancing Queens, who were behind in the beginning. So depending on how well they play this, we could see them getting a turn in, but Gazlo is on the Bruiser camp, so they'll have to deal with that if they get it in time.
Born to Shine getting caught here, but Light Bomb coming out to secure and play some of the members, but a huge Gravel Bomb, and we're seeing the side of Illidancing Queens just getting absolutely decimated. All 5 members going down, turn in, up and available for the Baddest Dudes.
Yeah, all the gems are gone for Illidancing Queens.
Yep.
Sayonara to turn in. Excellent combo by Baddest Dudes, and this is where they possibly go for boss. We see Gazlo making their way up there. A boss Webweaver turn in is gonna be crazy for them. This is still like 15 seconds until we see Illidancing Queens spawn.
They do have that Bruiser camp pushing mid as well, so on top of having that spiders, they have that siege in the mid to clear up. They're gonna have a boss in the top lane, and then they're gonna have spiders as well. Mind you, they are all up now to do a defense on the turn in, as there's not someone sitting there ready to turn in as boss gets low. Typically, you know, when you're like have a quarter health left on the boss, whoever has a turn in goes and does that, so you kind of have a synchronized turn in.
Did just pass the turn in with exactly 6 gems and went up to boss. So it was interesting, but that fort will fall top lane to the boss as the Webweavers are making their way down into the lane.
And
So we'll have this top lane getting pressured quite heavily.
Here's the thing though, both teams have all their ults online here, and they're both going for this big wombo combo team fight. So it's just who's going to be the one that manages to pull it off first. Because if Baddest Dudes can do it, they can win the match here with this boss and Spider pushing in this top lane. Jakebot getting caught out, Polymorph coming out. Here's the ring, but it doesn't quite connect onto anyone. Maiev going in, trying to bind some people. We have the Warden's Cage coming out. Riptire coming out. That's going to get the pick onto the ETC. Maiev getting quite low, having to back off. We do have Leoric going in, trying to slow them down, looking for that pick onto Maiev. But the Drain Hope doesn't quite connect, and she is able to back out. This boss a little less than quarter of its health left, coming in to do some pressure onto this course. And the Spider kind of sitting in the same situation here. Illidancing Queen's trying to get the pick here. They do manage to get a counter pick onto the Gazlo. Their core taking damage here as the rest of the members try to clean it up. Malthael is in there, managing to get the pick on a Brightwing as well.
Yeah, just...
And now Leoric. Oh my goodness, this game is so back and forth. They do ultimately lose 2 keeps for this, as we're going to see bottom fall here in just a moment as well.
I'm gonna say
mid.
my pun. That's really embarrassing. I'm gonna say it even though it wasn't. They may not have Deckard, but they sure stayed a while. You know what I mean? And yeah, they definitely paid for it. They tried to get some value with chunking that core, but it is back and forth. And I think once the combo's down, you just gotta leave. You don't have anything else, you know. On turn-ins, yes, you can harass Illidancing Queens and keep them from turning in, but other than that, no, you gotta go.
Keep in mind though, Illidancing Queens lost a lot of gems here, so they're trying to find those gems to get a turn-in for themselves. Even though the members of the Baddest Dudes all went, you know, a few of them going down there, there's not too much Illidancing Queens has up for them to grab. The camps are all gone off the map right now. They don't have turn-in. They're just looking to try and find something, which might be a team fight here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, looks like the outnumbered ring does come out. Junkrat falls. UTC slid in. There's the Gravel Bomb just catching Seztrin. The Mosh Pit comes out. Gazlo caught in it and taken out. And it looks like we're going to see... No, I thought we were going to see a hot pursuit bottom lane, but instead we see turn-in available for Illidancing Queens and then posturing to get that.
That Bruiser camp is up and available too, and look, all 3 members of the Baddest Dudes are trying to get that done right now. It looks like Illidancing Queens maybe even eyeing grabbing theirs as well. Decided to go for the invade just a little bit too late here, unfortunately. What are they holding off turn-in?
I don't know
for?
why. I thought they were posturing for turn-in. There's a hook. It does catch Born to Shine. She is caught in the Entomb and taken out. I think they missed their chance. Warden's Cage coming out. Durlock caught in it, but these are just R buttons pressed, I think, in reaction to what just happened to Born to Shine.
I don't know why they didn't just go straight for turn-in. Like, I'm not sure if they're just having some miscommunication here, because it looks like, you know, Dax wanted to take their Bruiser camp. Somebody wanted to invade the Bruiser camp of the Baddest Dudes, and in the whole mess of that, turn-in didn't happen when it should have. And now everybody's up on the side of the Baddest Dudes, and now they're down the Anduin because he got hooked and pulled in and picked off.
Yeah, it's rough for them. I think that was an interesting macro call for the Bruiser. Just because we saw Baddest Dudes pick it up didn't mean that Illidancing Queens needed theirs. Now they're down a healer for another 18 seconds. I mean, they only have 1 keep left also. So...
I don't know.
It's getting closer and closer.
I'm just like, why didn't you turn in? What happened? And here's the big wombo combo coming out once again. Grab Bomb only connecting onto Malthael there. Ring of Frost and the Entomb coming out. Emerald Wind going out from the Brightwing though, able to kind of interrupt that. We are going to see the Stitches fall, followed up by the Gazlo and then the Maiev being taken out here.
Oh my god.
Woo! Malthael just getting saved by that leap of faith, able to back up here, get some heals from Born to Shine, but a 2-for-1 in favor of Illidancing Queens. Can they get the turn-in this time though?
Will they click the egg nest thing? Get those gems in. Maybe boss turn-in for them? I mean... I would get the 39 in, Yotaro. You know what I mean? They are playing with their food on the side of Illidancing Queens.
I'm-
Concussion mine placed. I don't know, Jazzy.
This is scary. They're still down my F right now. They're taking damage from this boss. They still haven't turned in the majority of their gems here. There's 42 sitting on the Melthiel, who's split from his team right now, not helping at the boss. Leoric is going in. He has that silence and tomb, so if they all clump up trying to take the point, Riptire is out as well. Keep in mind,
I mean,
this is
we have Emerald Wind. Mad Kaiser stepping up just to do that, but is taken out instead. Concussion mine. Jakebot using
my
What's happening? Are all 10 people gonna die? I can't tell. It looks like we're gonna see Baddest Dudes come out fruitful here, and instead of getting the turn in and
game.
boss,
This
yeah,
is
we
game for
saw
Baddest Dudes.
Illidancing Queens go for just the boss, and it took forever because of all of the crazy stuff going on. So
Well, they were just playing. I don't know what they were doing there because they had Melthiel in the lane while they were doing the boss instead of helping hit the boss, which means they didn't have enough DPS on it to actually get it down in time before everybody was back up on the side of Baddest Dudes, and they ended up having to take a 5v5 after eating a whole bunch of boss damage. I don't know. It was a little bit weird calls coming out there on the end from Illidancing Queens, but that's going to be the series won by Baddest Dudes. We're going to have to do a very, very, very quick interview with them because we have another game to get into. Maybe we can get into the lobby while we're doing that interview. And also, I haven't gotten the map selections and stuff from the other teams either, so we'll need to get that sorted. I'm going to jump into the lobby 1 in NGS real quickly.
okay.
Hello.
Hello, Demon Grand. Welcome to the Winner's Circle. Congratulations on your 2-1 tonight.
Thank you very much.
We're going to have to make this a real quick interview, so I apologize for that because we have another match to get on to Cass here, and they're starting the lobbies and stuff right now. But let's just quickly talk a little bit about your draft and your bans here. You were sticking with those Diablo Stukov bans. Are those target bans on Illidancing Queens? Why those bans as well?
Yes, those are very much target bans. We saw that Jakebot played a really, really good Diablo, and I think they had him 10 times this season and won 8 times with him. And then Stukov they had for 10 times this season and had a 60% win rate with him as well. So those were concerns for us. We knew they were powerful heroes, and we knew that we needed to take them away.
All right. Now we saw the incredible combo to watch of the Gazlo Junkrat Gravo Bomb with the Rip Tires. Is this something your team has practiced before? Is this something you kind of just stumbled into tonight? What's going on there?
That was literally because Dax told me that I'm the reason he started to hate Gazlo. So I kind of told myself that I was going to play Gazlo tonight if I could. So Dax, that's for you, buddy. But yeah, that kind of just stumbled upon. It just worked out that way. We had a coach who talked with us about our drafting tonight and kind of gave us some ideas. And that cursed comp was his idea, and we ran with it and executed it perfectly. It worked out really well. So game 3, we said, well, if they're going to let us do it again, why not just do it again?
All right. And again, I hate to cut this short, but maybe we can just get into some shout outs here as we have to move on to cast another series. But congrats on the win. Very, very exciting matchup to see here tonight. If you guys didn't know, the Baddest Dudes were sitting in 4th place in Div E going into this evening with 17 points. Illidancing Queens in 2nd, and they managed to grab the win over them. So very well played. GG's. let's get into
Thank
those
you.
shout outs.
Well, first I got to shout out our coaches, Jamster and Psycho. With their help, we felt really prepared coming into this game, and I really appreciate everything they've done for us this season. So thank you guys so much. Shout out to my entire team because you guys are the greatest. I think we have so much fun playing together, and we're a really strong team, and so it's been great. Shout out to Illidancing for giving us one hell of a fucking game. Excuse my language, I'm sorry, but that was rough. Sorry I couldn't be there for game one. And then finally, shout out to the casters, man. You guys have been great for coming to us and giving us some screen time. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's our
All
pleasure.
right. Well, again,
All right.
congrats on the win tonight. Good luck in the playoffs for NGS. And I was really impressed, and I'm looking forward to catching some of your games if I have the opportunity to. Yeah.
Please do.
right.
It's going to be exciting for playoffs.
All right. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.